Most youth pastors work extremely hard to get new students to come to youth group, but don't actually have a plan for what to do next. In this video, I'm going to show you our complete follow-up system, including how to connect with first-timers, how to help students take their next step in their faith, and how to keep them coming back. We're going to walk through all of our resources, all of our systems, and we're giving it away all for free. You see, last year, our students shared the gospel over 4,400 times with their lost friends and family members. And out of those 4,400 plus gospel conversations, we saw 103 individuals trust Christ. And at our youth group, over just the course of this past year, we saw over 300 first time guests. And so, as God continued to bring a harvest, we asked ourselves some tough questions on how we were actually doing with following up with these students. And through all of that, we learned a lot of lessons that we implemented that took our youth ministry and our follow up process to the next level. And so, this is years of work that we've implemented through trial and error testing and just going through all of it. And so, today, my goal is to take the video to walk through the entire process. And I want you to take whatever works. I want to give all of our resources away for free. We'll have Canva templates available. I'll share with you everything that we do. And the idea is for you to take this and use what works. And if you have something better, drop it in the comments. We'd love to know. But this has really worked for us, and we've seen a huge increase in our visitor retention. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to walk through from the very first time a student walks through the door. We're going to talk about what we do with first timers. We're going to talk about what we do with new believers. We're going to talk about how do we keep students coming back. And then I'm going to talk about some of the background systems that actually help us do all of this. And so the first thing is, what do you do when a new student walks through the door? Number one, do you have any new students, right? That might be where some of you need to start. But what do you do when a student walks through the door? How do you capture that information? Well, the first thing that we do is we have a first time guest card. All of our students, when they walk in, go straight to the iPads and they know to check in on the iPads. But we have leaders standing right there. And if it's a student's first time, they come up to this leader and they fill out a first time guest card. And what you put on this card is super important, because the reality is that's probably the only time you're going to get to capture their information. It's really hard just to take a little bit of information and then try and follow up later to get more. And so we make sure that we get all the information we need right there. So we get things like first and last name, of course. We get things like, hey, your home address. Hey, do you have a phone number? Hey, what school do you go to? What grade are you in? Hey, who invited you? Hey, what are your parents' names and contact information? Now, the mode of operandum, the best way to do this in the entire church is actually you want probably 5 fields or less to actually get somebody to fill it out and turn it in. But in youth group, they're already there. And so we don't have to worry about overloading them with information because they're already at youth group, and it's what they have to do in order to participate in youth group. And we've never had a problem with this. We've never had any kid, because here's what we do. We just say, hey, we're just going to use this to follow up with you. So we make sure they know that it's not any threatening other than, hey, this is going to help us create a profile for you. And the next time you come in, you won't fill out this card. You just check it on the iPads. And that's really important. And we'll walk through how we use all of this information. But the first step is, hey, how is your system at capturing all the information of first-time guests? Do you have that in a solid place where you can make sure that you capture that every time? It all starts with check-in. So once they've filled out that first-time visitor card that we created, then we give them a gift. And so this card, we have them fill that out and we say, hey, fill this out. And then we have something we want to give to you. Now, there are a lot of great first-time gifts. I know some youth groups that do t-shirts. In the past, we've done bags with a bunch of goods in them. The most effective gift that we found is actually lanyards, and it's 2 reasons. One, shirts are expensive and complicated. You're always worried about, do I have the right size? And the cost of shirts only keeps going up. Bags, we found, would get left behind all the time. We'd put a bunch of stuff in a bag. They might take a couple things out, and then they might leave the bag. Well, we switched to lanyards about 2 years ago, and since then, I can count on one hand the number of times I've seen a lanyard left behind, because it's so easy. They just put them around their neck or they put them in their pocket. And so we know that they're actually taking that gift with them. And the other reason we love the lanyard is because we can constantly change what goes on that lanyard. So we have a custom lanyard with our youth ministry kind of Romans 10, 9 through 15, what we're all about, how can they trust in whom they've never heard. We want to tell everybody about the good news of the gospel. But even if you aren't there budget wise, you just need to get some generic lanyards as long as you order some kind of more modern, cool looking ones. You don't even have to have full custom lanyards. But what we do is we put custom gifts on the card or on the lanyard, excuse me. So we have cards like, hey, here's when we meet. It talks about our program schedule with a QR code to join our group where we communicate. And so that's right there on the card. So when they take that home, they can literally tear it off and give that to mom and dad. On that lanyard as well is a custom bracelet that we have. We have little Ziploc bags that we can order. They're super cheap off Amazon. Just search clear plastic bags bulk, and they're literally like 2 cents a bag. And in there, we put a couple stickers, we put a custom bracelet, and we put a free snack coupon for our snack shop. So it all just literally goes right in the bag. Don't even have to hole punch or worry about all that. Just put it in the bag. It's already got a hole in it. Put that on there. And then we have a card for our social media. And so we have QR codes with, hey, here's where we are on Instagram, TikTok, here's where we are on YouTube, on Spotify. So they can go ahead and scan that directly. It makes them aware of everything that we have. But the whole purpose of this lanyard is to make them feel valued and welcome. But then we have a card on there that says, here's what we believe. And this is why we love the lanyard. Because when a student comes in, we walk them back to our youth room while showing them all the things on the lanyard. So we say, hey, here's the card of when we meet. Hey, here's a bracelet for you. Hey, we have a snack shop. Here's a coupon for a free item in the snack shop tonight. But hey, I really want to share with you this card. And this card walks through what we believe. And we use Dare to Share's Life in 6 Words. God, our sins, paying everyone life. So we simply tell them, hey, God created you to be with him. And our sins separate us from God. And sins can't be removed by good deeds. So that's the bad news. But the good news is that Jesus lived the perfect life we couldn't live, died on the cross in our place, and rose on the third day. And anybody who trusts in him and him alone will have eternal life. And life with Jesus starts the moment you trust in him, and then it just never ends. And we say, hey, so that's what we believe. And in 1 minute, you're going to hear more about that tonight. But we just want to be upfront what we believe. Whether or not you choose to believe that, you are welcome here. We're glad you're here, but we wanted to make you aware of that. And so right off the bat, students know what we're about. We've had students stop right then and there and ask questions. We've had students trust Christ based off the lanyard before we ever even got to the lesson, because some of them are already ready. They're seeds that are ready to be harvested, and they're showing up ready. But it's also a non-threatening way for that kid who maybe doesn't believe that, but then we're clear, hey, this is what we believe. And so that lanyard has been the best way for us to do that. Now, the reason why we can always change it out is we put, hey, when we have our winter retreat coming up, we hole punch our winter retreat card. We put it on there. Hey, summer camp, we put that on there. Hey, if we have a really special event, we can create a card and put that on there. And so it's super easy to do. We love to order the cards off of gotprint.com. They're not the quickest, but they are great quality and great pricing. So you can have fast, you can have good quality, and you can have cheap, but you can't have all three. You got to pick two. And Gotprint has great quality and great pricing. They're just a little bit slower than maybe some other outlets like Canva or Vistaprint or whatever else you use. And so whether or not you take the lanyard idea and put everything on it that we do, you can put whatever you want on there, but have that first time gift to share them that. So they come in, they fill out that visitor card. We give them the lanyard, and then as we walk them back to our youth room, we have a rolling cart filled with Bibles. Now, this is a huge deal for us, okay? Last year, we gave out 185 Bibles to students who didn't already have one. Now, before, we used to have bulk Bibles. We would order paperback Bibles off Amazon. We would have those. We say, hey, you can take one of those. Now, there's nothing wrong with that. If that's all you can do budget-wise, hey, that's still a great thing to do. But here's the problem we ran into. Everybody had the exact same Bible. And so we didn't know whose was whose. Kids would leave them behind, and it was just random. And so we wanted two things. Number one, we wanted them to have their own personal Bible so that their Bible felt special to them. And number two, we wanted to make sure that they had a study Bible because many of these students were coming from unchurched homes and they were brand new to Christianity. We wanted them to be able to rightly understand the word of truth. And so we purchase ESV, that's what we use as a church, but there's, of course, a lot of great translations. We purchase ESV study Bibles off Amazon. And here's the really cool part. You can get really expensive with this, and that's kind of what we love to do, not because we have just complete unlimited pockets, but because We're a little bit of Bible nerds. We love giving out Bibles. And so there's two kind of tiers. One I'll share with you that we buy is the Teen Study Bible. The Teen Study Bible comes in about 8 or 9 different colors. You can literally search ESV Teen Study Bible on Amazon and it'll pop up. And they're hardback, all different types of colors. And so it's the same Bible inside, but on the outside, it's all different. And they're about $20 to $30 a piece. And so we have those. And then we also have ESV Journaling Study Bibles. There's the Artist Series by Crossway, and they have tons of different covers. And so they're so cool because, again, the same on the inside, but they actually have study notes and a space for journaling. And so on that cart, we try and keep it fully stocked with about 15 to 20 Bibles. And we have it on a rolling cart. We roll it out, we set it up. And when students come, if we say, hey, do you have a Bible that you like and you use? If they say yes, we say, that's awesome. We have these Bibles here for anybody who doesn't have one. So if you have one that you like hey, that's great. But most of them, a lot of them say, no, I don't. We say, would you like to pick one? And their eyes light up. They get so excited. We even have kids ask all the time. It's like, well, how much are they? And we're like, no, they're free. We want to give it to you. And so they're still in the case. They get to take it out and look at it, but it's brand new to them. And here's actually what we found. The students that we give Bibles to are actually more likely to bring those Bibles to youth group than students who maybe grew up with a Bible. Because what it does is it connects with them. Hey, this is where I got this Bible. This must be important to this place. And so they bring their Bible back, and it's so cool to see them start to mark it up, to put tabs in there, to bring it with them. They treasure that Bible. It is a huge thing to show them, hey, this is what we're about, the gospel, and we're all about God's word. We take those Bibles when we speak at schools. I spoke at a school the other day, not because of anything I did, because we have awesome students who are there. We offered, hey, if you want a Bible, come grab one. We gave away 16 Bibles to kids who didn't have one already at a club of 40 kids. And so it's so cool to see how God always provides. So make sure that you have that first-time visitor card so that you can get all that check-in information. Make sure you have that perfect first-time visitor gift. Lanyards are what has worked best for us. And make sure that you have some Bibles that you can give out. Again, it doesn't mean that you have to have the high dollar option, but have some Bibles to where you can say, hey, look, we want to give you a Bible if you don't have one already. So now they've come to youth group. They've enjoyed your program, hopefully. Now they leave. Now what? Well, now the next step comes in, and that's following up with that first timer, because you can make sure that they have a great experience at youth group, but how do you actually develop that relationship outside of that program, right? We don't just want to hope they come back next week. There are some active steps we can take. So that's why capturing that first timer information is so important. So here's what we do. We take that card and we then take that information and we create a profile in our database. Now, you might be a smaller youth group, a smaller church. You might not have a database. Even a Google Doc is great to do this because you can keep all that information right there, Google Doc or Google Sheet. But we use Planning Center. I know there's a lot of great databases out there. We take that visitor card and we log it in so they now have a profile. So the next time they come, they literally go to the iPad, put in their first and last name, check one box, and they're checked in. And so it helps us know not just how many were there, but who was there, which is super important. I'll talk more about that later. But they've come, they've enjoyed your program, now they've left. Now what do you do? Well, we have a pretty robust outreach process. And the reason it's robust is because we found, shocker, the more we reach out, the more they come back. So what do we actually do? Well, we take that information on that visitor card, and the first thing we try to do it that night. If not, we try and do it within the first 24 hours, is send 3 texts. One to the parents. Remember, we capture the parents' information on there. We send a text to the parents saying, hey, we're so glad that we got to meet your son or daughter tonight. Thank you so much for allowing them to attend our program. Here's our numbers if you ever need anything. So it lets parents know, hey, if I have any questions, my kid had a great time. Hey, they came home talking about this. Can you explain that more to me? Now we've opened that line of communication. I've had parents call me before that I didn't even have a further conversation than just sending that text. But when life got hard, when something was going on in their student, now they had my phone number that they could reach out. So we send that text to the parents. We send a text to the students. Now, we have some boundaries in how we do this, and that might look different for you, but we send a text to the student saying, hey, thank you so much for coming tonight. We loved having you. Hey, we meet again on this date. We'd love for you to come back. If you have any questions, please let me know. And then we actually send a third text, which this one I found makes a huge difference. And I think it's a little bit going above and beyond. We send a text to the student who invited them. So on that first time guest card, there's a space that says invited by, and we send a text to the inviter. And we say, hey, thank you so much for caring enough about the youth group to invite your friends. We're so proud of you. And if there's anything we can do, please let us know. We hope they enjoyed it. Thank you so much. And what that does is it doesn't just recognize the student who came, it also recognizes the student who put in the effort to invite their friend, right? We repeat what gets rewarded. And so we say, hey, we saw that, and that's so cool. And that goes a really long way, because now I know that you're just not after my friends, right? You care about me too. You want me to grow and develop spiritually. So we send 3 texts. We try and do that within 24 hours. One of the parent, one of the student, and then one of the inviter. And then we send a postcard. And you can see that postcard. It just says hello there, kind of in a fun, modern, kind of like our brand style. And there's kind of a trick here that I've learned. We used to have kind of generic postcards. We used to have just kind of open folded postcards or open folded cards with our logo on the front. But then when you open it up, there was a lot of space, and I always felt pressure to write a lot of things. When I created these postcards, the fact that there's not much room, I only have to write 1 or 2 sentences, but it doesn't make it seem like, hey, they didn't put much effort into it. And so I know it's like a really small thing, but these are the things we've tried to think about. And so we try and mail that postcard the next day, because students are excited when they get mail. So they get a follow-up text and they get a postcard. And that postcard is just, hey, we loved having you. Hey, we hope you come back, and we can't wait to see you again. So we send 3 texts, we send that postcard, and then before the next program, we send a follow-up text to that student inviting them back. So each student who comes, we send a card, we send 3 texts, and then we send a follow-up text. And with that card that we send, we include a sticker in there. Kids love stickers. And so we have this cool, we use ChatGPT to create it for us. We literally put our logo in ChatGPT, said, hey, can you create a sticker for us out of this logo? Here's what it came up with. And then we just pop that right into Canva. We use Sunday Cool to print all of our stickers. They do a great job with their high quality stickers. Our students love them. They're all die cut, so we can literally just hand them out. We don't have to peel them off a sheet right then and there. We just hand them out, and our students love those. And so we take that logo sticker, put that in the postcard, and then send that off. And so now, hey, they might stick that on their water bottle. They might put that on their phone, their laptop. Our kids put them everywhere. But it's just a reminder of, hey, this is the youth group that cares about me. So we have the first timer, they come, they enjoy the program. Then we have our follow-up process. And then I want to talk a little bit about what we do once they continue to come. So we've talked about first time check-in and what we do their first night. We've talked about how do we get them to come back. And then we're going to talk about how do we follow up with them? How do we help them in the next steps in their faith? And then we'll also talk about how do we actually keep them coming back when maybe they've fallen off a little bit or gotten really busy. So the next is what we call our new member process. So our goal is to get them to come back 3 times. And the reason why is that research has found that essentially it's true for restaurants, true for churches. When they come back that 3rd time, they are now saying, hey, look, this is something that I really enjoy. I'm a part of. This is where I stick. So in youth group, if they come back 3 times, here's what we found. They might not be a regular that comes every week, but they now view that as the youth group that they go to. And so what we want to say is, hey, look, you're now a part of something. And so when they come 3 times, again, we track this in our database profile. I'll talk more about that in a little bit. When they come 3 times, we consider them a new member. We don't have membership of our youth group, but we consider them internally, we consider them a new member. Hey, this is now a student who is added to our roster. And so our roster is all the students who have attended at least 3 times in the past 3 months. And that is a rolling roster, and it's all based off check-in data. And so when that student pops up on that roster, we know they've been 3 times, we send them another postcard. And this one says, welcome to the fam. And then we have a gift in there. So we send a postcard that just says, hey, we're so glad that you've decided to really join us in this youth group. Hey, we're so thankful that we've gotten to know you a little bit. We are looking forward to continuing to get to know you. Hey, thank you so much for choosing to be a part of what we're doing here. And so that moves them from guest to member. It moves them from visitor to regular. It moves them from I'm just checking this out to now I'm a part of this. And so we send that welcome to the fam card, and then we send a bracelet. Now for girls, we actually make custom bracelets with their name or a Bible verse on it. And so we have somebody who makes those for us. These are all things you can have a volunteer do. They make those bracelets they just put them right in the envelope with the postcard and send it off. Guys, we have steel braided bracelets, cross bracelets that we throw in there, and we send those off too. So now it's not just, hey, I'm a part of something. Now there's a visual reminder of, hey, I'm a part of something. And so by doing that, we found that that really moves them from visitor to regular, really helps them cement that in their minds. So now they've done this. Now we've moved them from visitor all the way through to regular. We'll talk more about how we continue to keep up with them. But what if they've made a spiritual decision along the way? We've had a lot of students come the very first night and trust Christ. We give the gospel at least 3 times every night, once with that lanyard. Once we have all of the students say it before we start, we say, hey, whether it's your first time or 100th time, everything we believe can be summed up in 1 minute. And we go through that gospel acrostic out loud so they memorize it. And then, of course, we always give an invitation at the end of the lesson. And there's a great way to do that invitation that I talk more about in other videos. But when they then make a decision for Christ, this is something new that we started doing that has been a game changer. We record that date in their profile. So they come up, they say, hey, I made that decision tonight, or they raise their hand and we are able to follow up with them. And we find out, hey, tonight they profess faith in Jesus Christ. We note that in their profile. We give them something and we note something in their profile. And I'll tell you why for both here. We give them a new believer booklet. So it gives us an excuse to say, hey, if you made that decision, please come see me. What I say is come give me a fist bump. I'll know what that means. I've got something I want to give to you. We wrote a 23-day devotional called Made for More, which is a new believer booklet that teaches them what the Bible is, what prayer is, gives them access to resources like gotquestions.org, bibleproject.com, commentaries like Enduring Word. The first 3 days are literally, this is the Bible, this is what prayer is, and these are some resources that you can use. And then the next 4 weeks are understanding their new identity, purpose, king, and habits. Each day has a reading section. So they're not just reading the booklet. It literally says, open your Bible to this section. So each day has a Bible passage that they're reading. It has a devotional thought. It has a time of prayer. And what we love is each day has a challenge to take to grow them in their faith. So some of the challenges are like text a friend, ask them how you can be praying for them. Hey, a challenge might be, hey, try and share the gospel with somebody today. Hey, it might be as simple as, hey, I want you to go back, read this passage, close your eyes, and envision what this actually looks like. And so those challenges are real simple, but what it starts to do is it starts to move them just from, hey, this is something I believe, to this is now something I do, right? I actually live out this faith that I have. And so that new believer booklet, we've made that completely free as a Canva template for you to change, for you to edit, for you to mark up, add your logo, whatever you want. And I'll talk more about how you can gain access to that at the end of this video. So we give them that new believer booklet, and we take those new believer booklets with us everywhere. When I go to speak at a after school club, a before school club, at a mom's group, it doesn't matter. We take those with us everywhere, and I never leave with any. They always take them because so many of them they don't know any better and they want to get started in their faith. And we say, hey, look, it's about 15 minutes a day. 23 days. At the end of this, you'll know all the basics. There's QR codes with the videos in there. It walks them through the entire thing. We handcrafted it for students. So we give them that new believer booklet. And then the reason why we mark their date they trusted Christ in their profile is we send them a new believer letter. Now, there's 2 reasons we do this. One, we send this new believer letter so they understand how big of a deal this is. So in the letter, we talk about in Luke 15:7, how it says that there is rejoicing going on in heaven whenever a lost person trusts Christ. We say we want to join in that rejoicing. And so it solidifies to them that this isn't just like, oh, it's a decision I made at youth group. No, this is a big deal. That letter helps them understand that. And then 2, if I'm a parent, my student gets a letter, I want to know what this letter's about. And so in there, it talks about the decision they made so that way parents understand. We always struggled with how do we actually make the parents aware that their student made a decision for Christ? Because you've got 2 kinds of parents, right? You might have one who has no idea what that even means to become a Christian. Or you might have parents who've been praying for years for their students to make a decision for Christ. So it's an answer to prayer for that parent that's been praying, but it also introduces salvation for the parent maybe who has no religious background at all. And we love sending that letter because, again, it just solidifies, hey, this is the decision I made. This is now who I am. And it just really encourages them. We also include a sticker in there that says "Made New," and we put that in there with 2 Corinthians, where it says, "If any man is in Christ, he is a new creation. Behold, the old has passed, the new has come." We add that sticker on there so they can put that wherever as a reminder too, and that's how we follow up with new believers. But we also do something really cool. When we mark that in their profile, again, even if you're just doing this in a Google Doc and a Google Sheet, you can still do this. A year later, we follow up. We send another letter. And that one is not a kind of a generic template. That one is a handwritten letter that is one of two things. If they've come and they've stuck, hey, and we've seen them grow, we tell them that. Hey, this time last year, you made this decision to trust Christ. And hey, we're so proud of how you've grown. It's been so cool to watch, and just really just praising them for the decisions they made. Hey, but maybe they trusted Christ and then we never saw them again. Well, it gives us another reason to reach out to them to say, hey, last year you made this decision. We hope you're doing well. Hey, we're not meant to do this life alone. We'd love to see you again. It's just another reminder. Oh, wow, that was a year ago, because sometimes life goes by and we don't even realize it. So it's a huge way to mark the occasion and to follow up and to keep going with them. Also, once we have a list of all those students who've trusted Christ, the next baptism rolls around, we can send text to all those kids. Hey, you made a decision to trust Christ. Hey, here's our next baptism. This is the next step for a believer. This is what the Bible has to say about baptism. We'd love for you to participate. So what it does is it now gives us a strategic way to help them take those next steps. And also, selfishly, it helps them know the date they trusted Christ, right? I wish I knew the date I trusted Christ. I remember I was 7 years old at our church's vacation Bible school, but I don't remember the date, and I would love to know the date. And so it helps them mark that occasion when they actually made that decision to trust Christ. And so that's one of the ways that we follow up with new believers. So we've talked about how do you capture that first timer, that information, get them assimilated. How do you follow up with that first timer? We've talked about how do you help students make that next step in their faith when they come to place their faith in Jesus Christ. How do we actually help them get jump started in their new life in Christ? How do we mark that occasion? How do we follow up? But what do you do when a student just, hey, they kind of start to fall off? Well, we've got a couple ways that we do that. We use those same postcards, it says hello there, and we use those to send out to students that we miss. And we do this periodically, and we try to do this about once a month. And we have different ways we do this. So, for instance, in our Planning Center database, we go and we say, hey, I want you to run a report. I want you to give me all the students who've been to youth group in the past 6 months, but haven't been in the past 3 months. So the students who have been in the past 6 months, but haven't been there in the past 3 months. And then we might send all of them a postcard. Hey, we miss you. We hope everything's going well. We'd love to see you at youth group again. We do a bunch of different ways. Sometimes we do, hey, if we have a fun upcoming event, what we'll do is we'll say, hey, give me all the students who've been in the past 3 months who haven't been in the past 2 weeks. And we'll call all of them and say, hey, we're having this fun event. We'd love to see you there. And I am blown away by how many students come back. It just takes a simple invite. We've done things like, hey, give me all the students who have been in the past 3 months but haven't been in the past 2 weeks. And we actually created a personal YouTube short for every single one of them. It took a couple days to do because there was almost 100 of them. But literally, what we did is we recorded a 1-minute YouTube video of me saying, hey, insert name here. We miss you. We hope you're doing well. We hope to see you again at youth group. And I know you're going to be watching this video at some point, so I'd just love to take a second to pray over you. And I prayed right there on the video. I prayed that, hey, that God would watch over them, that he would protect them, that, they would grow in their faith with him if I knew they had a faith with him. And then I ended the prayer, and then I said, hey, we really miss you. We hope to see you again at youth group. We then took that video, uploaded it to our YouTube page unlisted, so nobody else saw it except for them. And then we simply took that URL of that YouTube video, created a QR code, printed it on a piece of paper that had a hand waving emoji with their name, printed that off, put it in an envelope, sent it to them. So when I get that envelope, I open it up and it just says a hand waving emoji with their name, and it's a scan for a special message from the Gathering Student Ministry. They take their phone, they scan it, and up pops a video of me saying, hey, with their name, saying we miss them, praying over them, inviting them back to youth group. Almost every single kid watched the video. We can see it because it's on our YouTube page. Almost every single kid watched the video, and about 75% of those students came back within the next 2 weeks. So there's so many ways that we can actually care for these students when they fall off to keep them coming back. I mentioned before, when they get added to that kind of roster, hey, they've been at least 3 times in the past 3 months, they get added to that roster. We also have it automated in Planning Center to where, hey, when they haven't been in the past 2 weeks, that triggers an automatic postcard that we send out saying, hey, we miss them. So we are constantly saying, hey, we miss you. And here's why. If your student's a part of travel practice and they miss a practice, the coach is going to wonder where they are. If they miss 2 practices, the coach is going to start to get concerned. And if they miss 3 practices, there's going to be, hey, what's going on? If your student misses school, they get an email. If your student misses work, your boss cares. But oftentimes we just kind of treat it like, oh, well, they missed church. Hopefully we see them again next week. No, it's not about perfect attendance. It's not that, hey, like, what are you doing? You should be here. It's simply this: we missed you. We like it more when you're here than when you're not. We know that this is a good place for you to be where you can grow in your faith and you can learn more about Jesus and live for him. And so we just continue to reach out and we do it that way. And once we find out why a kid isn't there, now we reach out with more information. For instance, we had a parent say, hey, Tyler loves coming to youth group, but he's doing football right now, and they have practices on Wednesday nights, so he's only going to be able to come Sunday nights, and we've just been out of town the past 2 weekends. Now we just reach out and say, hey, we miss Tyler. We hope football season's going well. Please send us a schedule. We'd love to catch a game, and we can't wait to see him back at youth group once football season's over. Again, it's just caring for people well. And so when we constantly do that, now we're caring for students. And you might say, well, Ren, this sounds like a lot of work. Well, it's work to get it implemented, but actually there's a really simple secret here. You get students involved. So we get a group of 10 students. We go to Chick-fil-A. We have a list of about 250 kids. We knock it out in an hour and a half, and then we all enjoy milkshakes, then we go home. We've even had volunteer leaders or assistants meet the kids at Chick-fil-A. I order it from my app. They take care of it. We're sensitive with the data. We make sure that we do that in a respectful manner. But I'm sitting on the couch hanging out with my family while people do this for us. So there's simple ways that you can do this. Maybe you have a volunteer who really wants to serve in youth group, but you're just not there with thinking, hey, this would be a great small group leader. This is a great way to get them involved. Hey, we actually do need a lot of help writing postcards. It's a great way to do this. And so we follow up with kids when they miss. And then lastly, we celebrate their birthdays. I mean, who doesn't love a good birthday celebration? We created a happy birthday card. We say happy birthday. We have a list of all of the kids who've been to youth group in the past year. We send out probably about 10 birthday cards a week. And in there, we don't send them a gift. We send them a free snack coupon at Todd's Place, a special birthday free snack coupon at Todd's Place. So that way they have to come back in order to redeem it. So it doesn't cost us any money unless they actually come back to youth group. And so it just helps them know, hey, we celebrate their birthday. We care about them. Gives them a reason to come back if we haven't seen them in a while. If they're faithful, hey, guess what? Now I'm looking forward to youth group even more. And here's the beauty of all of this. We're not winning them to anything other than the gospel. We want them to be a part of something bigger. We want them to love coming to youth group. We're building relationships. What you win them with is what you win them to. And all of this is building relationships. Of course, there's stickers thrown in and there's a bracelet, but hey, we're not rewarding them with material things for the things they do for Jesus. We want to praise them and celebrate them for the things they do for Jesus, because that's what Jesus does. And so all of this is built upon building a relationship with them and helping them understand the importance of what we're doing. So now that we've walked through all of our different resources, I want to talk a little bit about why having good check-in data is so important. And then I'm going to share with you how you can gain access to all of these resources free of charge in Canva templates that you can take and make your own. If you are not tracking check-in data, you're missing out. Our check-in data is how we have all of the past 4, 5, 6 years, and we know who's been. And it comes in so handy when it comes to knowing who hasn't been there, how often they've been, because as we have grown, I've had leaders make statements like this. Hey, where are they? I haven't seen them in months. Well, I can actually answer that question. If I've reached out to them, here's what mom and dad said. We had a student who just had surgery, right? She's not going to be there for a couple weeks. Wouldn't it be terrible if we didn't know she had surgery, right? So I can say, hey, they're not here because of this. Or oftentimes, hey, actually, they've been here the past 3 weeks. We just haven't really been able to see them because there's been so many kids. And we've seen that. Our youth group has grown tenfold since we started. And so it's been really easy for students to get lost, but these systems help us care for these students. They don't just feel like a number, it still feels small. So this all goes back to that check-in data. How are you capturing not how many were there, but who was there? Whether that's a database, whether that's a sign-up sheet, whether that's a Google form, keep all of that information. It becomes so critical. And as you grow and as you gain access to databases and systems, now you can really start to use that to work for yourself through workflows, through lists. I mean, there's so many different things you can do here that make this so much easier for you. All of this takes about 5 hours a week. I have volunteers who help. I have an assistant who helps. Before I had an assistant, it was just me. And it's about 5 hours a week, but it has made a huge difference in our ministry and how many first time visitors stick, how many new believers stay, how many kids that we see who show up once for a fun event actually come back. And so it is a great way for us to continue being good shepherds and caring for those that God sends us. So hopefully by now you're like, how do I gain access to these resources? Well, we've created a free online community called the Youth Ministry Mastermind that is by youth pastors for youth pastors. And in there, you will find all of these resources completely free of charge. The community is free to join. We want nothing from you, but we have a weekly podcast, the Beyond the Youth Room podcast, which we'd love for you to check out. We have free resources. We have live master classes. We have monthly challenges that we do. We have a community of youth pastors that you can, talk with and hopefully be encouraged by and gain ideas from. And so to get access to all of these resources, simply click the link below. Join the Youth Ministry Mastermind for free today, and then you can go and download all of those resources. You'll find all of them in our community. Also, when you sign up for our Youth Ministry Mastermind, I'll reach out to you directly and say, hey, I'd love to set up a time to talk with you. If you need help implementing this, I would love nothing more than jump on a Zoom call and help you with that. If there's anything else you're trying to troubleshoot, we'd love for you to do that as well. If, you just want to celebrate some wins or maybe you're discouraged, whatever it is, we want to help you with that. We're here for nothing more than the gospel to go forward. So make sure you click that link below, join the Youth Ministry Mastermind today, and then we'll reach out. Also, if you want to check out more of our content, I'll post a link in this video to one of our other podcast videos that you can check out, where we talk more about how we continue to take the gospel to students around the country, around the world, but starting with our own communities. And we'd love for you to become a regular listener of our podcasts. You can find that wherever you get your podcasts, YouTube. Please like, share, subscribe. Again, everything for free. We want nothing more than the gospel to go forward. So join that Youth Ministry Mastermind. Check out the podcast. If you have any thoughts, drop those in the comments below.